Welcome back. You're watching Metropole Business Center, where we're shedding a spotlight on matters agribusiness. And in studio, I have Kimuri Mwangi. He wears two hats. He's a farmer and he's also an agriculture reporter for years. He's been doing this business of reporting on matters agriculture. So if you want to know all about agriculture reports and making stories out of agriculture issues, then you have the right man to listen to today. Thank you so much, Mwangi, for making time for us.
Welcome, Victoria.
All right. So you're a farmer. You're also a business, agriculture reporter. Let's start with the farming. What are you into? What do you grow?
Well, I can call myself a small-scale farmer. But currently I'm growing arrowroots. We call them ndoma.
Ndoma.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, that's very healthy.
Yeah, those are the ones that I'm currently farming commercially. Because we met our parents farming them, but just for subsistence. Yeah, then all of a sudden there is that renewed interest in healthy eating and such kind. So I thought, why not do it commercially in a thing now? Because they just used to farm the normal way. Yes.
So for you, when you're writing about agriculture, you actually know, you're doing it practically.
I can say that, yes. Because even I've grown up picking coffee in our coffee farm, and so I know some of these things have affected me as I grew up, because when it comes to coffee issues, we were inside those issues because we are coffee farmers, or my parents are coffee farmers.
Great.
Yes.
So thank you. So you are writing for Kilimo News.
Yes.
So what made you go into choose to specifically write for agriculture?
Well, I think one is that what I've said is my parents, we can call them peasant farmers, and secondly, I found myself having passion for agriculture, just like I have passion for journalism. And so along the way I thought, why don't I marry them? And so I decided to go into agriculture reporting. But also, when it comes to agriculture in Kenya, when you look at the smallholder farmers out there, they are undergoing so many challenges. And I thought maybe if I decided to go full depth into giving them information, knowing what they want, knowing the issues they are facing, the challenges, then I would in my own way have contributed to their well-being. Yes.
Definitely, definitely. And today we're waking up to news that the Agriculture CS is launching a laboratory at the Kenya Dairy Board. As a journalist, well diverse with matters agriculture, what's your perspective on this, and how important is this laboratory at this time?
Well, Victoria, I think that laboratory is very important. I think that's a very good decision they have made, because going forward, research is going to be very vital in helping our farmers, because the world is changing. There's new information daily. Scientists are coming up with so many things almost daily, and our farmers need this information. They need this research. So I think the dairy laboratory will be very much of help the farmers in knowing the information they need about their milk. Maybe it will even help solve some of the challenges they have been facing. So I think that was a very big or a very nice idea of investing in a laboratory.
All right,
yes.
Perfect. And let's listen to rather the issue of the cherry fund. It's a story that broke, and it's bringing a lot of debate.
Yes.
The ministry launched a cherry fund for coffee farmers. Your background is coffee. You're raised in coffee, but now we are at a point where farmers are not taking up this cherry fund.
Yes.
From what you've been reporting and what you've been speaking to farmers, what's the main issue, underlying issue, on why are the farmers not picking up on the cherry fund?
Well, Victoria, I think when it comes to the coffee cherry fund, the revolving fund, let me see, it was a nice idea, because farmers have been having a hard time waiting for their money from the time that they sell their coffee. Some of them undergo various problems as they wait for that money, and it takes a while. So the idea of the government coming up with a fund to caution the farmers and help them even when they are picking the coffee was a timely idea. But I think there are a few challenges they have faced, or we can say what has led to that. One, remember that it was just the new KPCU, the one that it is administering that cherry fund. It was the board was inaugurated on November 2019. So, and from that time up to, from January now 2020 up to June, there was a lot of going on. There was a public participation on the regulations that now are establishing the coffee cherry fund. There was the public participation. The views had to go to Treasury. They had to go to Parliament to be passed, and then taken back to Treasury. So you see, from January up to June, literally they couldn't do nothing because the regulations were not passed. But then now when they were passed, here comes COVID-19. So they were not able to move out there. I remember there was a time I was speaking to the new KPCU chairman, Mr. Henry Kinyua, and he told me that they couldn't now move for, out there to sensitize the farmers about the coffee cherry fund. Yeah? So those are challenges they have been undergoing. But there is another bigger problem, or another challenge that is out there: the coffee societies management. You've had the agriculture CS even very angry and threatening them, yeah? Because when a farmer applies for the coffee cherry fund, they usually receive the funds via their account, their bank accounts, or through mobile money on their phone. That means no money passes through the cooperative. And definitely, you know, these cooperative society management guys, they have been using that farmer's money for their own use in the past. That is on the record. So maybe that is why, maybe because the sheriff fund is not passing through the cooperatives, they are not, they go in between. Maybe that's why maybe they felt that they were not benefiting on a personal level, perhaps. And that explains why they don't have that that interest of helping the farmers and showing them how the forms should be filled. And I can tell you that is a big issue, because farmers out there, I've spoken to farmers out there, and they're excited about the idea. But the question they keep asking, where are these forms to fill? Where is this money? Recently, when C.S. Munya was in here, he said the money is lying idle at a cooperative bank because the uptake has been low. Slow, yeah. But also remember, the main coffee crop, or the main season for coffee, is from around, let's say, October, November, there. October, November. That's where the main crop comes. So, on another side, we have never had a main coffee crop from the time that coffee cherry fund was launched. So I think this time, as we head to this year, that is when now we'll see, when the main coffee crop comes, that is when now we'll see how many farmers will have taken it. I hope by that time now the government will have solved those challenges.
Issues,
So after the main crop, I think we can judge them on how the uptake has been. But I can tell you the farmers really want the money. Only now that the issues with the cooperative management is another thing.
Because they get a lot of the information passes through the cooperatives, and the cooperatives are the ones supposed to, sensitize the farmers about, when or why or how they can take up the fund.
Exactly, and these guys are the ones that are supposed to fill that form for the farmer. When the farmer takes the form, he fills his or her details, then these guys, the management guys, have to sign that form for the farmer to get the money. So you see, if they are not interested, definitely they will not sign. They will know where this farmer will get the money. If they are interested, they will be the first ones to go look for the forms. And bring them to their cooperative societies and tell the farmers the forms are here. Come fill and get your money. Yeah, so they are big cog in the whole chain, but still coupled with the other issues. But we hope that as we move on to the main crop, these things will change. Yes.
For the benefit of this coffee farmer, from what you've gathered, what's the minimum or rather the maximum they can get from the fund?
No, it depends with the amount of coffee that they have picked. Yeah, because the cherry fad or the coffee now that they have delivered is the one that they use as the collateral. Yeah, so it depends even with what the farmer has delivered as the coffee. Yes.
Good. And we are going through a pandemic, and you as a agriculture reporter, how has it been for you reporting on agriculture during this pandemic? Well,
Victoria, I can say it was very hard. I remember the first time, you remember the first lockdown that you had, huh? I almost got locked up in Kitale.
Oh, wow.
I had gone to cover a story of a couple that runs a seed propagation industry there. Very wonderful couple, Mr. and Mrs. Chiro. So I was there in Trans Nzoia, Kitale. That's where they have their farm. And I remember after now I covered the story, and now I was planning to come back to Nairobi. I almost delayed my journey for another 2 days, but then I decided, no, let me travel. And it was on, I think it was on a Sunday. So the lockdown now came on Monday. So I almost got locked up here.
Tell you with your story.
Yes. So let me say, covering agriculture during the pandemic was very hard. One, even the movement was limited, especially before we got those media passes, so that we can go. It was a challenge. And leave alone that, even after that, after we got the passes, now the logistics to go there, because there were checkpoints all over. It was very hectic, and then there was these issues that you could go to a place to cover a story. There's a lot of food going to waste, because one, there was a time there was a challenge in moving food because of the lockdowns. So food is here, a lot of it's going to waste. Well, here in the city, people are crying, we don't have food, we want food. So it was a bit challenging, because sometimes they were wondering, how can I take this food to those guys who want them? Yes, and even some farmers even suffered so many losses, because definitely they couldn't get their produce to the market, during that time. Sadly, we also lost some good farmers. I remember there was a farmer who is a very prominent organic farmer in Kenya who lost his life. He's called Dr. Kashamba from Kadara in Murang'a. That man was on his level, because he combined his expertise now to farm organically. He had farmed for 33 good years. And I'm telling you, he had helped so many people when it comes to organic farming. Sadly, he didn't make it. So there was so many challenges, but then it was also a lesson. It was also a good lesson, because normally, sometimes when you're just covering things comfortably, you don't know the challenges that can force you to go to the next level. So I think it was also a good learning experience. And one thing I learned is that agriculture, whether it is during a war, whether it's during peace, whether we are going through a pandemic, agriculture will remain very relevant, because
still need to
people must eat.
Exactly.
Yes, and that was a lesson even farmers learned, that no matter what, we need to keep producing, because these people, they keep on eating.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. And we are seeing, recently young people are getting into agriculture, but previously we used to see, agriculture was left for the old, the 50 pluses.
Yes.
And from you, what you gather, what's the issue? Why are young people not getting into agriculture, as much as they're expected to?
Well, first I think there's that, it's that perception, when we were growing up, the image of a farmer. When you were told this is a farmer, even by the way, when you were told to draw in class a farmer, you draw a guy holding a jebe in a shamba, boots, that is the image that came out of a farmer. So many people grew up with that perception that farmers are poor, farmers don't get a lot of money, farmers are struggling. Then there was that perception that farming is actually going to the shamba with that jebe, with that panga, and tilling that land early in the morning, or going to that coffee farm, and picking that coffee. But I can say times have changed, and so many youth have still not gotten over that perception. But there are several who have done that, and I can tell you they are doing so well, because there is something that they have not understood. That the agriculture value chain is so long. The agricultural value chain is so long, from tilling the farm, that is what we can call producing, to marketing, to value addition. So the value chain is so long. So it's upon the youth now to change that perception and look along the value chain and see where they can enter, especially now during this era of using technology. They can choose to use technology to enter into a certain area along the value chain, because right now we have several youth who are using technology in marketing. They are online sites these days which are helping farmers to market their produce, and so many other issues. So I think the youth have to change that perception, that they can only go to the farm to be considered as farmers, and then they should think of practicing agribusiness. There is agriculture where you get money. So I think that perception is still there, and I also think some of our youth don't love to maybe take a risk, or
they're looking for white collar jobs to sit in
looking
office.
for white collar jobs out there, and I think they should look at the farmers, at the few who have done that, and I can tell you, I know several who are doing so well. And also, I also think we also have a challenge with, maybe even with the parents, because I also met some youth telling me that now I don't have money to hire a lad to practice farming. And when I tell my dad I want a piece of land to practice my farming, he's telling me that he's farming on the land. So you have that challenge, especially in areas where there's coffee and tea. Usually you meet those men there. They hold on to that land, especially when it comes to tea. By the way, Victoria, you might visit a farm where tea is planted, and the only place that doesn't have tea on that farm is where the house stands, where the toilet is, and maybe the cow shed.
They've maximized the land.
They maximize the land. Everywhere you turn is green tea. You see? So this guy coming to convince his father that give me this part, I have put several shrubs of coffee to plant something else. I think it becomes an issue.
Put up a greenhouse.
Imagine.
The man is asking, wondering,
convincing that man to uproot tea, to put up a greenhouse. Hey, I'm telling you, it's not easy. So I think that is also a challenge. And I think we also need, as we speak to the youth, for them to get into agribusiness, I think we should also talk to the parents, at least to let their children get some blood to farm and
pick up from where.
Pick up from there. That is a big issue. Even when it comes to coffee, there's some guys who go to their fathers and tell them, give me a part of coffee, so that I maybe 20, 40, 50 trees. And the man is like, wait, I'll tell you. And then he has to wait.
Oh.
So
wow, interesting. Very interesting. And as we finish this, Kimuri, looking at media, which is supposed to be relaying this information about agriculture, even to the young people, like you said, where's the missing link? What what aren't we doing right to get this information out enough for the farmers?
Well, I think one, we need to give people something that they can relate with. You see, when you give the story of a farmer in Kenya, a farmer somewhere in Turkana, other farmers can relate with that. But I also think we need to look into the kind of stories we're giving these farmers, because sometimes we just give the positive side. It is always good to give the information that can help these farmers, like telling them about the challenges. You know, we might encourage the youth to get into agribusiness, but we're not telling them the challenges. Yes. For example, now you can go, especially when you go online, you always see these stories. You can see a headline, Meet Victoria, the farmer who gets 1 million daily from her sukuma wiki. You see?
Looks so beautiful.
Looks so beautiful and so encouraging. And a guy can run there, so sukuma wiki can make me a millionaire overnight. But you see,
you don't know the struggle of
you don't know that the struggle that is there. You don't know about the market of what is that is involved there. So we need, as a media, to give information to these farmers that can help them. And I can tell you, farmers are yearning for information. I can tell you, farmers can pay anything or walk very long distances to get the information that they can use to get it right in their farms.
All right. And Kimuri, finally, what would you tell this journalist who's trying to get into agriculture reporting? He's in school, maybe training, and looks at your stories and thinks, in 5 years, in 2 years, I want to be an agriculture reporter.
One, I can tell them that don't take agriculture reporting just as another duty that will be given. No. You have to have a passion for agriculture and understand issues in the industry, in the sector, so that at least you can make impactful stories. Well, you see, when you are inside the sector and you understand what happens, then definitely you'll have it easy, and you also be able to file objective stories, because you'll have gotten the facts right. Yeah. So I think first, let them ask themselves, do I have this passion for agriculture? Have I ever been interested? And it is not late to start getting interest into agriculture. You see, agriculture is very interesting. Once you start getting in, you discover so many things that people just take for granted. Yeah? And along the way, you'll fall in love with agriculture. And that will make you so easy. But definitely let them know that there are challenges. Agriculture reporting calls for going to that farmer, going to the farm, understanding the sector, understanding what that farmer wants, and understanding their problems. Along the way, even give them solutions. Probable solutions of what is ailing them. Yes, so they should combine all that. And but I can assure them that the agriculture sector is looking great, especially with the technology. Now it is very easy. Yeah, it's not like some years back. Agriculture reporting these days has been made very easy using technology.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mwangi. Of course, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to agriculture reporting, and thank you very much for making time for us right here on Metropole Business Center. That is Kimuri Mwangi. He is a journalist and also a farmer. He's with Kilimo News right there. You can go check out the stories all about agriculture reporting and what's happening in the agriculture front. Definitely will be having more discussions on this topic in the coming future. That's where we take a short break. But before we take this break, I'm asking you, reminding you today's question, where we're asking how many flavors of tea do we have in Kenya? How many flavors of tea do we have in Kenya? Send us your feedback and we'll be sampling your answers at the tail end of this show. But right now we're taking a short break, and when you come back, we'll be coming back with your innovation and your agri-fact. So don't go anywhere.